Hello and welcome to Mountain Climbers. I'm your host and fellow mountain climber, Whitney. So today I am so excited for you to hear my guest story. My dear friend, Kirsten Blevins, will be here to share about the mountain that she's had to climb. One of my favorite things about mountain climbers is having guests on who are just a silent pillar of strength. They don't say much about the battle they're facing, but you watch them from afar and you see that they keep climbing and they climb with such a dignity and grace. And that is the epitome of who Kirsten is. And her story is about her journey battling MS. And I just thought it was perfect to have her come on and share this journey during March, which is MS Awareness Month. And if you can believe it, this interview has been a year in the making. Last year, I texted Kirsten and I said, I'd love for you to be on Mountain Climbers, but I really want to do it whenever it's MS Awareness Month. And she told me it was March. Unfortunately, March had already passed, but we said, okay, we're going to do this a year from now. And the day has finally come. And I know that you're going to be encouraged no matter what type of mountain you're climbing, whether it's physical or if it's a completely different mountain, to keep climbing and to always find the victories in the midst of the climb. Hey, Kirsten, thank you so much for being on Mountain Climbers.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited. One of my favorite things about Mountain Climbers is having guests on who are just a silent pillar of strength. You watch them from afar and they don't say much, but you observe them and they climb their mountain with dignity and grace, and that is so you. So I thank you for coming on and being willing to share your story and just, taking it a step further. March is MS Awareness Month, and you're coming on to raise awareness about that disease. So I appreciate that. I know people who have MS will love hearing your story, and people who are just facing any type of mountain will love to hear how you've overcome. And I know it'll give them, encouragement. So first things first, I want to know, when did you start noticing something was not right in your body?
Um, it was probably right before my 24th birthday. When I started to notice, I started having trouble walking. I had tingling in my legs. My hand was tremoring, and it made it difficult to do the simplest things like writing even.
Wow.
And so that's what, brought it to my attention. And that's what, looking back after doing more research, I realized that there were symptoms beforehand, even they were just minor, that I didn't find. Like, for example, I had my left eye. I can't see very good on my left eye. I went to the doctor, my eye doctor, had tests ran, and there were no answers at that time. So
well, probably being a nurse, that cued you in even more. Okay, I got to get this checked out.
Yeah.
And so you went to the doctor, and what was his prognosis? Did he tell you initially there's nothing to worry about, or did he kind of prepare you like, I'm kind of worried with what you're telling me?
The MRI, because that's what the doctor ordered, had ordered MRIs, and they could see the lesions, and that shows the damage that where my immune system was attacking my nerves. And he couldn't tell me what would happen because MS affects everybody differently. But he said that it was some of the worst imaging of the MRI was that he had seen. He's like, it looks like you've had this for a while. I didn't think about it until later. I was like, actually, yeah, there were some symptoms.
Well, that no one wants to hear that from their doctor. I can't imagine hearing that. And so when you heard that, what emotions did you experience? Did you worry about your future?
Yes, because I had only dealt with one, being a nurse, I had dealt with someone with MS, and they were totally dependent on others to even do the simplest of tasks.
Mhm.
And so I thought I was just going to downgrade from where I was.
Mhm.
And upon more research, I realized that the medical community has came farther, and it is possible to live more independently. But at first, yeah, it was totally defeat.
Yeah, I can't imagine. You mentioned, dependence with the patient that you saw that had MS, and just explain what kind of detrimental effects does MS have on a person's body?
Difficulty walking. I have brain fog sometimes. Sometimes the most common of words, I have trouble finding my words. I know what I want to say, but I can't think of it fast enough.
Yeah.
It takes me longer to explain things.
Hmm.
I still have the hand coordination. It's not as bad. That's a minor issue now because of the medicine and such that I'm on. So I can write with my right hand again.
Yeah.
Because that was a problem. And I still have problems with vision. I can not see very good out of my left eye, pretty much. I just see the shapes of, I can see the shape and something's there, but I can't really read
Yeah.
with it.
That's really tough. And you mentioned that these symptoms began when you were about 24 years old. So, up until that point, you had experienced what it was like to have a healthy body that doesn't attack itself. So, you knew what you were losing. And so, I would imagine, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that made the diagnosis of MS even tougher.
Yes, because when I got that diagnosis, I wasn't able to do things that I was just a year ago
Mm-hmm.
prior to the diagnosis. And it was hard because I'm like, I would see handwriting that I done, post notes, past notes that I had and such. And it would just break my heart seeing, I'm like, I can't write like this no more.
Yeah.
And so it was disheartening for sure.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned before the MS community, and being able to talk to others who have MS. Did reaching out to them and hearing their experiences, did that help you?
Yes, it did in a lot of ways because although that I did have difficulties myself,
Mm-hmm.
seeing others, it
Mm-hmm.
gave me an appreciation for the things I could do because there are others that do unfortunately have it worse than I do.
Yeah.
So it gave, even though it was defeating, feeling like it was encouraging to know that I'm still doing good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that would have to, encourage you and, help you keep going. So, what kind of things did God do for you during this climb? How did he sustain you and what did he teach you?
He definitely taught me patience with myself and others. It
Mm-hmm.
gave me a compassion for others.
Mm-hmm.
When I see someone else having issues, I'm like, they're probably going through something like what I'm going through. So I have compassion for others like that.
Mm-hmm.
It just lets me be patient and let me have, like I said, compassion. And then it just makes me thankful and appreciated that I can still, like I said, seeing the others with MS and seeing how good I seem to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
it gives me an appreciation for what I can do.
Yeah. Yeah, I've said it, I don't have MS, but I have a chronic illness that attacks my body as well. And I've always said you'll always be able to find someone who has it worse.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're the sickest person in the world. No, you're not. There's always someone out there that, has a way more bad than you do. And like you said too, I know me, I have an empathy that I probably wouldn't have had if I had not had my, chronic illness. So I completely understand where you're coming from and how you gain those things through this, battle. But the cool thing is, in the midst of the climb, you can still conquer mountains. And so I would love to know how you conquered your mountains during this climb.
I have been able to still work.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that a patient that I first dealt with who was totally dependent, the fact that I can still walk and not have to be in a wheelchair is a great appreciation. I give thanks to God for that I can still walk on my own 2 feet. And it just, I had that victory. I had the victory of being able to raise my daughter and be able to play with her.
Yeah.
It may not be as long. I can't be on my feet as long or run as much, but still the small victories that I have in that process makes me very appreciative of that.
It's probably, you mentioned your daughter. Is it a miracle that you were even able to have her?
Yes. That was one of the things, because it was about that time I wanted to start having a family. And they was wanting to put me on some medication that I didn't know how it would be detrimental to my health and being able to have children.
Yeah.
And it just worked out that we were able, I asked him, got the okay from him, and we was able to have a daughter, and just so thankful for her, because having her gives me hope also of just seeing the joys that life and God has to give.
Well, you're about to get double the hope, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So when's he due?
May 14th.
So that is so exciting. I'm so thrilled for you. And those things just show that you are the perfect example that you can conquer mountains as you're climbing. So I would just love for you to encourage others and tell them how they can find the victories even in the midst of the climb.
One thing that I had to deal with is not letting pride in the way so much. You're going to have to ask for help sometimes. And so don't let pride keep you from asking, because there's people and they are willing and ready to help you and would love to help you if they could. And just having appreciation for the small things. It made me think of, maybe I can't do that, but I appreciate what I can do.
Yeah.
So it gave me a strong appreciation for just the small things.
Yeah. That is great advice. And I think it's something that anyone can grasp onto, no matter the mountain they're facing, whether it's a physical mountain or any other type of mountain. If we just look for the victories and focus on the joy and not what we can't do, then we're going to be able to keep climbing. And well, you're obviously the perfect example of that. And I appreciate your attitude and just your let's go get him, spirit, because that shows everyone this profound truth. When your strength comes from the right source, there's not a mountain you can't climb.